Alright, so I, just like a lot of you, recently heard the news about LeBron James going back to Cleveland. And before the comments come in, if they haven't already, about how I feel about this, it's really kind of a mix of things. I had mentioned in the past that, maybe I hadn't, but I'm pretty sure I did, I mentioned that my hatred for LeBron might be tempered a little bit if he did go back to Cleveland, if he took another shot at it with his hometown team, if only for sentimental reasons, which I'm sure is not why he's doing it, but if only just for, there were a lot of reasons for me personally why I wanted to see LeBron go back to Cleveland. And not to say this makes me a Cavaliers fan or a LeBron fan. I still don't personally like LeBron. I still feel like, I mean, obviously Cavs fans are ecstatic, I'm sure. I'm sure Cleveland is ecstatic. They haven't had a winning team in anything in a long time, so I'm sure that they're excited about it. But if I was a real, not necessarily a Cleveland fan, but, just looking at it from a realistic perspective, and obviously human nature is what it is, but essentially LeBron just said, screw you, Cavs, you aren't good enough for me. He ditched them for Miami Heat, and for 4 years he was the top of the league, and his team was in the NBA Finals every year. Now he's coming back going, okay, I had my fun, now I'll come back to you guys. And obviously the Cavaliers are going to take it. That's what I mean by human nature. We say we're not going to do things. We have that ex that did us wrong, that broke up with us, but if that same person comes back to us and we really like him, we'll still take him back. That's pretty much what's going on here. LeBron's coming back. Cavaliers are going to say no harm, no foul. The fans are going to love him. I'm not sure how Miami's going to feel when LeBron comes back as a member of the Cavaliers. There'll probably be some cheers, some boos. But then again, Miami was so spoiled at the end, and I'm starting to hate Miami, the team, more than LeBron now, because it just seemed like that fan base was just spoiled, partially because of the flaming pep rally, partially because of just the whole LeBron image, the whole idea that they were making like Team USA in Miami, the best players in the league or whatever. And when that didn't pan out, when the Heat were, God forbid, losing a finals game to the Spurs with a minute to go, the fans headed for the doors. They're like, we got better things to do. Come on, guys. This season even more so, they got blown out in the finals, and their fans are like, whatever. Well, they must be pretty ticked now, because LeBron is going back to Cleveland. I say he's probably not doing it just to, be all sentimental, because Cleveland does have some talent. They have Kyrie Irving. They added Andrew Wiggins through the draft. And see, I have a less of a problem with this. Obviously, still, it was him kind of wanting a title, but I don't really consider this championship chasing. I don't think the Cavaliers, obviously they weren't a title contender. Now you have to consider them one, but even so, it's not going to be that easy. You still have Indiana. You still have other teams in the East who are going to take a step forward, depending on where Carmelo Anthony goes, depending on what the Knicks are trying to do, depending on if the Nets take a step forward. Maybe they're as good as advertised. And then you have the West, where you have the Spurs, Clippers, Thunder. They're all still going to be in it. So, to me, this makes the game a lot more fun. I'm talking about basketball. I am just more relieved that the Big Three era is over. I'm relieved that I don't have to hear about this anymore. I'm relieved that, basketball might actually be interesting again. And I'm a Celtics fan, okay? And I realize that the Celtics aren't going to be in it for a while. And you know what? It's not that I don't care, but it's that I like an interesting league, whatever I'm watching. I'm a football fan, I'm a Giants fan, but I'm not like a huge Giants fan to the point where I only watch Giants games. I watch other games, and I like rooting against the Patriots. I like certain things about football. I like that different teams come back, and certain teams that were good aren't good the next year, and certain teams that were bad take a step forward. I like that about football. In basketball, it feels like the same teams are good every year. It seems like whatever team has LeBron gets the most wins. Whatever team has Durant gets the second most wins. And it's just kind of repetitive again and again and again and again. And I'm not saying it might be the same way next year, just flip-flop Miami and Cleveland, but I don't know. To me, this makes things a lot more interesting, especially if Chris Bosh goes somewhere else, especially if he goes to Houston. The way Houston, by the way, built their big three, if that is to happen, if they are to get James Harden, Dwight Howard, and Chris Bosh on the same team, to me, that's more organic. That's, just kind of situations that worked out. Houston being able to sign Dwight Howard, Houston being able to trade for James Harden back when they did, and now if they get Bosh, that's just kind of something that happened. Something I'm hoping will happen with the Celtics if they're lucky enough to get Kevin Love and maybe another impact player. But, again, that's what makes the league fun. The chance that your team could get somebody. To me, it's boring if Carmelo and all the best players are all just best buddies and they all flock to Miami or they flock to Los Angeles. To me, that's boring. I don't want to watch two good teams and a bunch of terrible teams all play each other for 82-game season in the playoffs. I don't know who does. Maybe fans of those teams, but I like parity. I like competition. That's one of the reasons why baseball is getting more interesting, but that's another story. I actually like this move, obviously. I really like this move. I'm glad LeBron's going back to where he started. I'm a big fan of loyalty and just kind of sticking to your roots. I'm still disgusted by what he did. I'm still disgusted about the whole not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. I hope he wins one title with Cleveland. All right, just one. I actually don't want it to be this year. I want him to have to struggle for it. But after that, I don't really care if he wins again. And I don't even care if he wins the one. It would just be kind of nice for Cleveland. I'm rooting for Cleveland. I'm not rooting for LeBron. I'm rooting for a city that hasn't seen success in many, many years. I'm rooting for a finals that's maybe Cleveland and the Clippers instead of, every other team. I'm just tired of it. At least there'll be something different this year. You can't predict Miami to win it all now because even if Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh both come back, they still have to compete with LeBron now that he's on another team, and they have to compete with the Pacers and other teams. So to me, this makes the league more fun, more interesting. I won't say LeBron did the right thing, but he finally got around to being less wrong. So that's my take on it. I don't hate LeBron as much, but I still dislike him. I still dislike the idea that, something like this could and probably will happen again with somebody going to the Lakers or something else. There'll be other super teams. There'll be other crap. But for now, LeBron is back where he should have been the whole time. Back in Cleveland. I hope the fans enjoy it. I hope the NBA enjoys it because it actually is a pretty good story. So that's my take on it. Disagree or agree if you'd like. I'll be back.